Welcome to BaldHeaded Metal, guys, and welcome back to another reaction. It's another band coming out of Indonesia by the name of Death Vomit with their song Ancient Spell of Evil. I didn't know Indonesia had such a strong scene in heavy metal. It seems you guys are showing me quite a lot of bands that are just completely kicking ass. But those who are new to this channel, fans of this band, guys, I'm going to express myself 100%. If I happen not to like this, you're going to know, but I'm going to do it respectfully without crapping on the band, but more for the conversation of heavy metal and what we like. That being said, let's get into the song. By the way, I want to say this right from the beginning. If you guys have some requests after this, in the middle, whatever, write it down. Send me a comment down below so I can have more varied metal covered on this channel. Sometimes when I do more niche bands as well, when I have the time. But with that being said, guys, let's get into it and see what we got. Okay, Indonesia. Okay, Death Vomit. I wasn't ready for this. This is like fucking old school death metal. And this dude, the main guy who's doing the vocals, he looks like a shaman about to cast a spell. Really enjoying it right off the bat. It's just hitting hard. I love that. You can tell they're fans of like Cannibal Corpse and love that kind of Cannibal Corpse, old school like bolt thrower, asphyx sound. Where it's just it does have catchy riffs, but it's also really heavy. It's not something like I always use the example of Nile, where it takes longer to digest. You're able to jump into this if you're into kind of really heavy metal, really like extreme metal. You can jump into this quick because it has a certain level of catchiness to it. I like his vocals too. I like the sound production. I do want in the almost 6 minute song, I'm gonna hope there's some variety, some switch ups in the riffs that really get you kind of wanting to mosh. Hopefully it doesn't stand as just relentless pace. It has some shape or form where it gives you a little breather or switches up in a nice way. The human Yeah, this is fucking dope. Yeah, just relentless, brutal, fast, old school. I mean, check, 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 check for me. I like this. I don't know if this will be right away. I don't know if this will be my favorite song from them, even just listening to this, because I like these kinds of brutal songs, but I tend to gravitate less towards them. I still want, like, for example, I'll give you a song that I think it's really fast and has all this brutality, but also has melody. Like, for example, Kafir from Nile. Amazing song. Amazing. Or Sacrifice unto Sabek, where it still has like melody within it. Here it's just relentless. And in some ways, you can call it slightly archaic in its sound, but I happen to have a very nostalgic feeling to that. Like, for example, we're listening to the album Arise from Sepultura. I love it because I grew up with this album, but listening to it now, I can understand somebody saying that it's too simple or they stay too long on certain riffs and stretch out the songs where they could have switched up a little bit more. I don't feel that way about Beneath the Remains. I think Beneath the Remains is just a purely classic album, no matter what year you're listening into. I'm going to give you guys this kind of, I need to express this feeling. I don't know how to do it. I listen to a lot of modern bands that you guys recommend to me, and some of them are heavy as hell, but they all have this kind of feeling of intellectual, thoughtful, this like we want to be heavy, but we want to be more thought-provoking, or just growing up in this modern era of softer. It gives a softness even to the heaviest of music. And then there's bands like Cannibal Corpse, and then there's bands like the old school beginning Morbid Angel, Suffocation, like these old school death metal bands where their brutality is just unfucking rivaled. It's like Why Slayer, Rain and Blood is still probably one of the most brutal records ever written. 35 minutes an album. It just has this raw energy and power that a lot of young bands just can't do. Maybe because they didn't grow up in those grimy clubs and playing just metal in the most harsh conditions with the most brutal of fucking guys. And some of these guys probably don't even have formal educational self-taught. They had this kind of rawness to the music that I love, but they don't have some of the technicality of the modern bands. It becomes like a pick and choose. I don't think I've ever experienced the feeling of both. Perhaps Atheist and Nile are the two closest, where you see extreme technicality, but you also see extreme brutality. But for the most part, it usually Aborted is another band that does it really, really well. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of people like this level of aggression. I would love to be in the concert. Probably get my ass kicked and thrown across the floor, but I would love to be at the concert. He also reminds me of I have a bunch of funny analogies for the main vocalist. He reminds me of anybody who's seen Big Trouble in Little China, Lopan. If Lopan straight up came out of hell and was just fucking brutal, that's another one he reminds me of. Or from anybody who's a fan of Conan the Barbarian, his friend, who they go on adventures with. Again, if he was like in his 50s, what he would look like. But he looks raw. I love him. He has just pure raw energy, both of them. And the drummer, guys, top notch. I really enjoyed this. And with that being said, I also want to hear some of you guys. I know this might be a little too heavy for a lot of people, but I would like to hear your thoughts as well. And at the same time, on anything I said in this video, you give me a comment down below. If you have a request, let me know. And enjoy yourselves. Keep it metal.